Good to see you. Amazing people hopping in here on Zoom. Today is going to be off the charts. I got some cool stuff for you guys. Who's excited for KBF tonight? Throw some fire emojis in the chat. Let us know if you're excited for tonight. I got some really cool stuff that I had prepared for you guys. And before we kick it off, I'm definitely going to open up in prayer. But before I do, if this is your first time on KBF, put a one in the chat. And if you've been here at least once before, put a two. All right, got a lot of a lot of people. Okay, we got some new people. Cool, cool. Good to see you guys tuning on. Maybe someone told you about it. Maybe you got an email randomly. But you guys are here and I'm excited. And so, what I want to do is I want to open up in prayer and then we're going to dive into a few things. Good to see that Pierre's hopping in here. And Drenair, yeah, you could keep letting people in as they come. But yeah, let's open up in prayer. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Lord, we thank you for your goodness, your mercy. Lord, I thank you that everyone who came on the call tonight, that you would use me to communicate to them in a powerful way on how important this stuff is in this last hour of time. And Lord, that they would be able to practically implement it in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All righty. So I saw some fire emojis in the chat, saw some people that are here for the first time. And, for those of you who don't know, maybe you came across the email and you've never been to River Church Baltimore, but this is hosted by River Church Baltimore. And I'm super excited. As I dive in tonight, y'all be praying for me because there is so much I want to give you guys. I'm gonna need to do so many different AI sessions. And as I was planning for today, I was asking myself a bunch of questions. And just to kind of gauge where everyone's at here, bear with me. I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions and then you could just respond in the chat so I could have an idea on where everyone's at. And really, I would say there's four types of people on here tonight, okay? There's someone on here tonight, okay, and we're gonna do a one, two, three, four. So the first type of person on here tonight is this is your first time even learning about AI, right? You haven't used it at all. Maybe you're a little skeptical. Maybe there's different beliefs circling your mind on, you know, um, things that have been keeping you from using it. Who would say there are one here tonight? Like you have not used AI at all. Any ones in the Zoom tonight? Wow. We got one. Anybody else? Any other ones? Okay. Okay, a few more. Anybody else? And if you guys can, definitely put your cameras on. I want this to be super interactive because, I'll give you guys a little backstory in a moment, but treat tonight like you paid $1,000 for this KBF call. All right, we got some more. All right, so let's go to the twos. The twos are the people on here who you've used the chat version of AI. Maybe you use ChatGPT, maybe you use Perplexity, maybe you use Grok. You use it to chat. You use it to chat. If you're a two, put a two in the chat. Okay, but that's all you've done. Like you haven't built anything with it. You haven't built a website. You haven't built an email newsletter. Like you didn't build anything with it. Okay, so those are the twos. Then there's the threes where you kind of went beyond just chatting with it. I mean, you're using it to build landing pages, you're using it to build websites, you're using it to build apps. Any threes here tonight? Oh, wow, we got some threes. Maybe you used it to build an entire workbook. Maybe you used it to build something. Okay, wow, we got more. Man, we got more threes than I thought. It's probably because we had my guy Justin come here a while back and he was showing everyone how to build websites and stuff. All right. And then we have fours on here. The fours, I mean, you guys are using Claude Code, you're using Terminal, you're using Cowork, you're using the coding side of it. Any fours on here, like you're using t Terminal, maybe you're using Visual Studio Code. Wow, we got a four on here. Any other fours? Any other fours? Where are my fours using Terminal right now? Where's my Visual Studio Code users? Wow, another four. I didn't think we'd have any fours on tonight. Okay. So we pretty much have someone in every level. We got ones, we got twos, we got threes, we got fours. And really the way I broke this down, it's going to be more so for the people that we're going to get to level up, right? We're going to get you to go from a one to a three tonight. And so let me just look at my notes here. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys some backstory as I get in here tonight and dive in. But some of you already know this. I went to an AI Mastermind in Nashville, Tennessee a few weeks back, and lots of cool things happened there. But because of time, I'm not going to get into all of it. And at this AI Mastermind, there was 18 founders in the room. There was fractional CMOs. There was CMOs. There were people who are looking to really start implementing AI into their business to go from just using ChatGPT and different tools to actually implementing an entire AI system into their business, getting into what I call agentic AI, right? Where essentially you build, think of it like imagine for a moment, right? We're all humans on here, right? We're all people and where people created in the image and likeness of God. AI isn't though. But imagine for a moment having an army of digital people, right? Probably all of us at one point or another, we played a video game before, we saw someone play a video game before, and there you see, these animated characters in these games. Well, imagine that for a moment, but just in the AI world, right? And what really excited me about this event was going from just using AI to help me do things to get AI to do things for me without me even having to ask. How many of you would love to have some I shouldn't say people because they're not people, but how many of you on here tonight on KBF would love to learn how to get some digital people, digital AI agents to work for you 24/7 while you sleep, right? They don't need any coffee breaks, they don't need any counseling, and they work around the clock. Am I talking to anyone on KBF tonight? And look, you don't need to have a multi-million dollar company. Heck, you don't even need a company at all to begin utilizing AI to work for you. Okay. So at this AI mastermind, my mind was just blown. The stuff I was doing, I felt like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, all in one. I was thinking about when I watched the Steve Jobs movie a long time ago, and in the movie, he's building Apple and these different projects, and like he was just so glued to getting things done. And I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. You use AI, or it's going to use you. Okay. And there's some things I want to go over, but finishing this up at the mastermind, like this, the two people leading it, like they are AI like experts, right? And they were showing me so many things. It was, guys, I'm not even kidding. I went from what was it, 7:30 a.m. all the way to like 9 p.m. at night for 2 days straight. I had to keep drinking coffee and Red Bulls. I mean, I was like, I'm getting everything I can. And I learned how to build out all these agents and build out this entire dashboard of agents that could write my content. They could write my emails. They could build my landing pages and they could do some cool things, right? And, this was a $4,000 mastermind. My buddy invited me to be a guest. So, fortunately, I didn't even have to pay anything, but I treated that mastermind like I paid 10 grand for it. And I was just going in. And so just to kind of paint a picture for you, right? We, kind of what I want to do. We're not going to do KBF next Tuesday, but then we're going to resume the Tuesday after. But we are going to stay in this realm of using AI. Okay. And so, what I want to do before I share my screen is I'm just going to, I'm going to pull up some AI over here, and I want to give you guys two examples. So bear with me as I do this. You should see my screen in just a moment. I got like so many tabs open. I'm trying to find the right one here. And so let me grab this prompt real quick. All right, there we go. Okay. I don't want this to be over anyone's head, and so that's why I'm going to be doing more than one session. And so you guys should see my screen in just a moment. All right, Lord, let it be the right one here. Okay, there we go. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Someone give me a thumbs up in the chat, Trenair. If you could see my screen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys could see my screen, give me a thumbs up or put yes in the chat. All right, I see a bunch of thumbs going up, so I'm assuming you guys could see it. So here I am. I'm not logged in. I'm on ChatGPT right now, which depending on how you use it, for the most part, it's just a chat tool, right? You could talk to it. It's gonna talk back to you. You could ask it to, tell you certain things. It's gonna respond to you. But the moment you're not communicating with ChatGPT is the moment it's not responding, right? And the whole idea here is we want to begin to be able to utilize at the end of the day. I'm not going to be able to go over this on today's session, but we want to get to a point where we're building AI in a way where it understands our writing style, it understands how we speak, it understands a lot about us so that when we ask it to do things, it's going to do it better than we would do it, but it's going to be in the realm we want it to be, right? So I'm gonna paste a prompt into ChatGPT right now, and the prompt I'm gonna paste in is nothing crazy. I'm gonna go into some ways if you're just using ChatGPT, how you could really get it to tell you what you want to do. But a lot of people they think that AI they think ChatGPT is AI. They think Claude is AI. They think Perplexity is AI. Those are not AI. Those are tools that facilitate AI, right? AI is artificial intelligence. It's all built on, code and context and really an algorithm. And so I'm not the techiest guy in the world, so I don't want to sound techie to you guys. So that's why I'm like really just believe in God to share this in a way that makes sense. And so I'll probably pause here and there just to make sure you guys are all following along with me. But as you can see, I put write a professional email inviting people at River Church Baltimore to register for our 90-minute AI workshop. And what's going to happen is when I post this, I mean, AI, these tools have come such a long way where you don't need as much context as we needed a year or two ago, right? And so for the most part, it's going to be able to handle this job. However, it's not going to have all the context. It's not going to have all the details. It looks like, man, how is somebody drawing on the screen right now? How do I delete that? Let's see. Clear all drawings. Okay. Don't draw on the screen, guys, if you could refrain from doing that. It looks like Tracy. I don't know how you're doing it, but you keep drawing on the screen. Um, let's see, let's clear that again. Okay. So who can see you share? Let's see. Can I don't know. It's not letting me keep people from doing that. So let's see. All right, whatever. Um, So ChatGPT is going to pull from all of these different sources, and that's why Pastor Rodney will even say, what is it? 38% of the time AI lies, and that's because it's pulling from articles, it's pulling from blog posts. Back in the day before tools like ChatGPT, whenever we needed something, where would we go, guys? Put in the chat where you would go. I mean, for me, I would go to Google, or I would go to YouTube. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? Now we could go to tools like ChatGPT. However, people think that when they ask a question or for a certain thing, it's going to do it correctly, and it's not if you don't train it properly. And so a lot of people are using AI, but they don't know how to train it. They don't know how to build certain files. And who on here, put me in the chat, who on here you are doing something with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and the next day you went to go start a new chat, and it's almost like it forgot everything you talked about in that last conversation. Put me in the chat if that's ever happened. Okay. So that's because I mean, these tools are coming a long way. Now they try to pull memory from different chats, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't have that capability within itself. But when you know how to use it, you're able to build that, okay? And I'll show you an example. But let's go ahead, let's type this prompt in and let's see what it's able to come up with, okay? Dear Dear River Church Baltimore family, we're excited to invite you to a special 90-minute AI workshop designed to help you understand and practically use today's most powerful AI tools in everyday life, ministry, business, and creativity. Whether you're completely new to AI or already experimenting with tools like ChatGPT, this workshop will give you practical hands-on insight into how artificial intelligence can help you. Then it goes into some bullet points. This workshop's beginner friendly. I mean, two things here. Number one is I, I it would take me back in the day, it would probably take me 30 minutes to an hour to write an email like this from scratch. And y'all, this thing spit something back in 15 seconds. However, one of the things I'm going to teach you in the coming sessions of doing this KBF AI training is you could get to a point where you have your AI trained. And so I'm going to take this same prompt, okay? I'm going to take the same prompt and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I'm going to go to another browser and I'm going to go into my Claude code, okay? So let me share my screen here. You guys should see it in just a second. All right, I think you guys should see this. Okay, so if you see my screen, you should see some of my different projects. This is Claude Desktop. Okay, I'm not gonna get into any terminal stuff too because some of you'll see terminal and you'll be like, what am I looking at right now? And so this is my ultimately favorite way to use this right now. But essentially what I did is I built out a folder on my desktop and I don't want to get into the weeds here, but essentially in this folder, it knows how I operate. I call it my TRV Global, which is the initials of my name, CMO headquarters, because I'm really big into marketing. I have an agency. I have all these different brands. And so if we go into my folder, what we're going to see, actually, I don't want to open that one, but if I were to take you into my folder, you're going to see different things. Well, one of the things I have in my folder is a claude.md file. And essentially what's in this file is it's telling AI essentially like what I'm doing, what my brands are, and what needs to get done. So I'm gonna say read my Claude.md file and begin the startup process. Okay. Now I just set this one up specifically kind of for this example the other day. And so it's gonna spit some information out here, okay? And so we're gonna give that a second. I'm gonna come back to you. We're gonna give that a second to load here. And what's happening is AI is going into my folder where it knows how I communicate, it knows my style of speaking, it knows my style of stuff. So I'm literally gonna put that same prompt in here, and this time I'm gonna let it write real quick and then I'm gonna share my screen again. But this time it's gonna go find my files. It's gonna read my brand.id and let's see if I could share this again. So see, it's reading all of these different files. And one thing I should have put is I have different brands. So anytime I'm doing stuff for KBF, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, uh, let's let's just work out of my Travis Ventrella brand folder. And sometimes, you have to just prompt it right to open that file. And so let's see, let's see. Don't fail on me in this demonstration, Claude. I don't know why it keeps trying to read this, but let's just see what it spits out here. All right, so one cool thing about this is the way I programmed this AI is so that it goes through my information, but then at the same time, like it asks questions to get context. Notice when we put the prompt into ChatGPT, it didn't ask me anything. Okay. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say it is what's Tuesday of next week? Anyone? Let's see here. So it's the 19th. May 19th on a Tuesday. So let's just say 6 p.m. All right, so it's gonna ask me probably maybe a few more questions. So it's gonna take me through this whole interview. And that's what I want because now it's gonna get everything else it needs from me to know to know what it is I'm looking for, right? And it's one of my favorite features to use in like AI tools is like, okay, interview me so we can make sure that you're gonna do exactly what I want. Just use a placeholder. Just use a placeholder. Is this cool to anyone on here? So there's so many different things. I'm not going to be able to get into the agentic side of things or autonomous AI right now on this session, but I'm going to show you guys some cool like little demos of different things you could do. Now notice how this is taking a lot longer than ChatGPT. It's because it's going through my files, it's loading tools, there's different skills I'm able to provide. Um, I'll show you that while it's loading, but literally, if I click this add icon, I have a list of tools or skills that I built. So anytime I'm working on something where, hey, I want some ad copy to be written, right? Like it's gonna do that. And so, okay. All right. So there's some other things you could do, but for instance, it says, "Hey, I want to personally invite you to something I'm hosting this Tuesday night on May 19th at 6 p.m. I'm running a free 90-minute virtual AI workshop, and I want our River Church family there. Here's the truth: AI is not going away. The people who learn it now are going to have a real advantage in their business, in their ministry, in their everyday life, blah, 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 blah." So notice how there's no like emojis, there's no M dashes. Like AI is always trying to put them ugly. Like you could tell when someone wrote something with AI easily these days. You just look, and if you start seeing M dashes and all these random emojis, okay, someone used AI to do that. But in my rules, right? In my rules, I say don't ever use M dashes, keep it clean and professional, and don't use emojis, right? And so that's just to kind of give you an idea. Same prompt, but two different outcomes, right? And so that's the point I want to get you guys to, right? You guys are going to have some questions here, but I want to get you to that point. Now, tonight, I want to go ahead and I want to just for a moment, I put together a presentation and we'll go through this. And bear with me, this is my first time really teaching on AI. And so I know I'm going to get better at it. But how many of you feel like you're getting some value? Let me just see the chat for a moment. How many of you are following along here? How many of you feel like you're getting some value tonight? Because I'm praying that I just communicate this in the most simple way for people who are not techie like me. And it's funny. I use one of the biggest takeaways I got from this event is when you set this stuff up quickly, you don't need to watch YouTube videos. You don't need to you don't need to read books about this stuff. You literally ask AI, like, hey, I'm trying to do XYZ. What's the best way to approach this? And it will help you. And I'll give you a bunch of examples. And so let me share my screen and we're gonna go into the presentation. So again, obviously today, I used AI to generate all these slides and help me create this whole presentation, by the way, too. So just so you guys know, right? How many of you think this graphic's pretty cool? So what we're gonna kind of cover today. What is AI? Why does it matter? Why do we need to use it? What's the difference between tools and chatbots and agents? And I kind of already addressed that earlier, so we won't probably spend any time there. What are some practical ways entrepreneurs can use AI today? What are some practical ways? All right, I had to take a picture so I could post it in a little bit. What are practical ways entrepreneurs can use AI today? How how can you write simple prompts that work? And then your first next steps this week. So I'm gonna give you guys some practical things that you're gonna want to do after this. Okay. Now, let's keep going here. What is AI? Okay. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Okay. It's a software trained on massive amounts of human knowledge. It's funny. Elon Musk was actually one of the people, according to what I've researched, who helped find OpenAI. And then because he didn't believe in the route the company was going when it comes to OpenAI, which that's what owns ChatGPT, he essentially bailed out. And I know he created Grok. And so, at the end of the day, OpenAI, they did not expect ChatGPT to go viral, right? They kind of thought it was like a joke, like a lot of the developers. They didn't think, in fact, what happened with ChatGPT wasn't even planned. They built this AI algorithm, but they didn't think as many people were going to use it as did. And I believe over 1 million people started using it within like 2 weeks of its launch. Like it just started going viral, and they didn't even think that was gonna happen. And so, when it comes to AI, like ChatGPT is just a tool that facilitates AI to be used. And there's so many different tools, right? Think of it like a search engine that actually thinks and writes. Back in the day, we'd go to Google, how do we do this? How do we do that? We'd have to read article after article. You would have to watch video after video. Now we could go to tools like ChatGPT. Hey, how do I change the oil in my car? Right? And the more specific and the more context you give it, the better answers you're gonna get. Right? Um, you talk to it like a person, and I don't agree with, like, obviously it's not a person, but you would talk to it like you would talk to a person, and it essentially is going to respond in a way that's going to make sense for you. Okay, now one of the things I want to drop in the chat real quick and then I'll explain it is something called whisper flow. Okay, something called whisper flow. Let me grab the link in my chat because there are a few different ones. I want to make sure you guys, I give you access to the correct one here. But let me grab this. You guys should see this in the chat here. All right, there it is. All right, let me know if you guys see the link here. Okay, now if you use my link, you're gonna get a month free. I think if you just go through the regular website, it would be I don't know how much they would give you there. Looks like my Mac is being silly right now. Let me grab this for you guys. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so this is a tool. This is a tool that I've been using. Okay, it's a tool I've been using. and I'm going to share my screen again. If you go to the chat, you could get it. But this tool was one of the first biggest takeaways in the Nashville AI Mastermind that I used. And what you do is you could use it on any of your devices. Let me share my screen again and kind of give you a breakdown of some of the ways you could use it. But you could speak your thoughts, right? Like if I give you guys, how can I share my screen this way? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'll give you some examples. Okay, so one of the things I would always hate about AI is it felt like I was always having to type and I would misspell things all the time and it was annoying to me. And so at this, excuse me, at this Nashville event, when they showed me this tool, I was blown away because Apple Dictation. How many of you know sometimes with Apple dictation, like it will misspell your words, it will say something you didn't even mean to say. But this is an AI version of dictation, and it gets better the more and more you use it. The more and more you use it, it's going to sound just like you. So to give you an example, is before if I'm thinking like, okay, we type differently than if we were to communicate with our mouth, right? Like if you're writing a letter to someone, sometimes you're going to talk to yourself as you try to write it, versus if you just wrote it, you would get a different letter. And I don't know how everyone else is on this call, but for me, I rather just speak. I rather just speak and it does what I want it to, like it says what I want it to say. So on my MacBook, what's cool about this tool is I have it on my phone, so I use it for all of my messages. I have it on my iPad, and I have it on my MacBook. So when I'm working with these tools, instead of typing everything out, I'm gonna press my shortcut command, which is the bottom left um, keyboard button, and I'm just gonna hold it and talk. All right, I'm trying to plan a dinner at 3:30, I mean 4 p.m. Tuesday. So notice how I said 3:30 p.m., actually 4 p.m. Like it made that correction, right? It made that correction. It knew that I went back like, oh, because sometimes you're thinking with Apple dictation and you're like, dang, now I have to redo it all over again. But this already makes the adjustments and then it saves everything on the app so it knows the way you speak. You're able to save words to the dictionary so it never forgets them, right? Like whenever you say someone's name, Apple dictation, every time it's going to mess up hard names. But then if this messes up a hard name, guess what? You add it to the dictionary and then it never messes up the name again, right? Or, I could prompt it. I need you to build out a landing page for this presentation so people could register. Then I want you to build out something where they're going to get an email right when they register. So I need your help writing the emails. And then after we take care of that, what I need you to do is I need you to set up a text that could go out to them as well. Um, and then literally it's gonna put all of that in. Guys, it would have took me like a minute to type all this. And then I would misspell every word, have to go back. So this is one of my favorite AI tools. If you guys don't have it, again, free month, use the link I put in the chat. It's been a game changer for me and I love it. So let's get back to the slides here. Are you guys getting some value tonight? Who's getting some value? Put value in the chat. Okay. So that's a tool right there that will save you like no lie. Like it saved me probably like a good hour to two per week. Just having the ability to do it. And again, I could use it on any device. Okay. So make sure I personally the most value I get out of it is when I'm writing long things and I could just sit there, hold the button down and just talk, right? If I'm trying to put together an email, it's a cool tool I could use, which I don't even use it for that, but if I work, like if I needed to do something like that, like it makes it so much easier. All right. So I'll take a break here occasionally, and you guys could maybe ask questions in a moment. But again, whisper flow, speak your thoughts, get work done, voice to text that thinks with you. Um, it's clear, accurate, voice to text anywhere. You could use it in email, docs, ChatGPT, Claude, Canva, automatically adds punctuation, formats sentences, saves time every day. Like it will literally tell you how much time it saves you, private and secure, works globally. It's absolutely incredible. Um, so there you go. Now, before I actually talk about this, I want you let's see. I kind of wrote something here in my notes. I just want to make sure I address it. Okay, I want to give you guys, I don't know if I have this on my slide, so I'm going to give it to you now. But there's three myths that I kind of want to address with AI, right? The big one is people are thinking AI is going to take my job. Who on here believe that at one point or another AI is going to take my job? Right? And it depends on what job you work at this current moment. I mean, it's not going to replace plumbers and electricians anytime soon. But who on here like thought thought that thought? I did. I'll be honest. I thought AI was going to take many jobs, right? But it's not going to replace people who know how to use AI. AI is always going to need someone for it to be used the right way. Okay. Now, again, with autonomous agents, you still got to program them. But it's like hiring an employee. When you hire an employee, you delegate certain tasks, you give them an SOP, you train them. I created all these AI agents, but guess what? I had to train them. And if they make a mistake here and there, I have to train them again. But the more and more I use it, the more and more it's going to get better and it's going to do the job and it's paying dollars versus thousands of dollars. Secondly is it's just like Google, right? Which is not true within itself because AI does generate answers based on this if I try to explain it to you, it's going to be way too technical, but it does generate, answers that sometimes it doesn't necessarily find on places like Google because there's certain things that these companies have put in to AI to give those answers. Okay. And number three is I'm not technical enough. You can't have that mindset, right? That's a myth. I'm not technical enough. I'm not a technical guy, but guess what? Now that I know how to use AI at the mastermind, I learned once you know how to use this stuff and set it up, it will help you use it. I want you to write that down. It will help me use it. And so when we get in a terminal, when we get into these super crazy things that sound complex and sound like there's no way I could learn that, you don't have to. I literally ask Claude for everything, right? I literally ask Claude for everything. Okay. Now I'm going to grab something for you guys. Okay. Because I want to talk about this. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Let's see, did I miss anything else? I'll probably hit this in a little bit. So, you really the three big AI tools a lot of people are using right now. I want to go over them, but what I use is I use Claude. I'll put a link in the chat. I believe with this link you get I can't remember honestly, but it was something like if I refer a friend, I think you get some credits or something. I can't remember. But there's the link for Claude. Now, I'll break these down because I do use all of them. I use one of the big reason the kind of the only reason I still have ChatGPT is because my wife loves using it. But I don't, I'll use it for quick things, but I use Claude. And the difference is this. ChatGPT, OpenAI, like it it's really known as a chatbot right now. Like again, time's flying by, and it's getting better. It can make graphics, it can make slides, it can do different things, but not as well as something like Claude can, right? And then when you get into Claude Cowork and Claude Code, which don't worry if that's going over your head right now. I don't expect you to everyone to understand that right now. But it's kind of like the difference between riding in a Toyota versus, a Rolls Royce, if that's a good analogy. And this thing, Claude just the other thing I like about Claude is it didn't take any, like to my knowledge and based on the research I did, Claude, ChatGPT, and a few others. I don't know if Gemini stands under this, but a lot of these companies were being offered large sums of money for the government to, have some control and stuff like that, and Claude turned it down. So I love that Claude, it really is made for people who want to get stuff done. Okay. So I use Claude. I have the pro plan, or actually I just upgrade it to the max plan because I'm building my entire businesses off of Claude now. So I'm on the max plan. But you could get a free account. I recommend getting like the $20 account because you get more features with that. And then we have Gemini through Google. And on Google, there's different cool things you could use. There's free tiers for all three of these. As for me, I'm going with Claude. I just like it way better. There's way more things you could do with it. And it's just overall way better for me. Okay, so how does AI actually work? How does AI work? Okay. AI essentially like through these tools has read almost everything ever written. Anything online it has access to, books, ebooks, YouTube videos, presentations, transcripts, articles, blogs, everything. And instead of you having to do research on stuff, there's literally models of AI you could use to do deep research for you. So what used to take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours with AI, you can knock it out in less than 10 minutes. Okay. AI's fast, right? Never complains. But here's the thing, it needs clear instructions from you, and you need to know how to use it. Okay, the better your prompt, the better your result, right? And this is where I'm gonna probably get into that a little deeper in just a second. You're the visionary, AI is the executor. Okay, now before I do a live demo, which I kind of already did something, so I didn't have to do this, and that's kind of what I demoed earlier. But I want to pull it back to me for a moment and I want to explain something to you guys, okay? If you're just going to I want to show you guys how to make your experience with AI better right now. Okay, so let me share my screen and go back to ChatGPT. I'm going to share my screen and explain this to you guys. Let's see. Boom. Share screen. Alrighty. You guys should be able to see it here. So there's really a four-part formula here. Like if you're gonna just keep using AI right now, I want to speak to the beginners because if you're not using it, you should use it. You should figure out how to use it every day. But I want to give you some simple formula you could use so you could get the most out of your current experience with AI, okay? Number one is the role. Okay, number one is the role. And so when it comes to the role, you need to tell AI who to be. Okay, what role are you wanting AI to play? Do you want it to act as an experienced email copywriter who specializes in faith-based businesses? And the better you are at describing the role, the better it's gonna be. Okay, and so the role is, that's the role. Tell AI who to be. Do you want it to be a world-class copywriter? Do you want it to be a world-class graphic designer? Do you want it to be a world-class, like what do you need to get done? And you need to give it a role every time you use it if you're going to use it in the basic way. Now, the way I set up Claude, I don't have to do this because it's already wired in the claude.md file. And every session I start, it goes through that file, it goes through my guidelines, it goes through what we worked on last so it never forgets where we left off. That's more on the advanced side. And again, I can't do that on this call. But I want everyone to get value out of here. And so, number one is the role. Secondly, is the context. Okay. You want to give it context, right? Give it background, right? Give it background. And I'm writing just so this all makes sense. Okay. So for instance, for me, I could say, hey, I'm a kingdom entrepreneur here in Baltimore. I run a detailing coaching program, helping detailers grow their business. My clients are detailers. My tone is direct, professional, and faith rooted. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example here in a moment. Lord help me be able to get this to you guys. Okay, task. What do you actually want? Right? What do you want? What do you want it to do? Do you want it to write you an email? Do you want it to like what do you want? Write a 3 paragraph email to a detailer who attended my free webinar but has not signed up for the coaching program yet. Okay. So give it a task and then you give it format. Like how do you want it to get that to you? Right? How do you want it done? Right? So here I have tell it how to deliver the output. Right? Let's see here. Tell it how to deliver the output. All right. So really those 4 things, right? And so I know I could do this on Claude. I don't know if I could do it on ChatGPT, but watch this. This is the format I want you to follow. Ask me a few questions one at a time so you could understand the role I want you to play, the context I need to give you, the task I need you to have done, and the way I want it delivered. So let's just see what it says. Like I ask AI for everything. So now look, it's gonna give examples. What role do you want the AI to play? So if you can't think of like what role you even want it to play, like here are some professional email copywriter. So then what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna copy this. I'm just gonna flow with it, right? What background information should the AI know before writing the email? Now, before I'd have to type this out, but I could just speak it out. So who the audience is, what it's about, key details, blah, blah, blah. Um, so in this case, I could just say professional email copywriter. Yeah, I am talking to a group of entrepreneurs who love the Lord. And I just want to show them the basics on how to start implementing AI into their business and their career so that they could be more productive. Oops, I forgot to I forgot to click here. Am talking to a group of entrepreneurs who love the Lord, and I want to show them the basics of how they could start implementing AI to buy back their time in their business and career. Okay, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but I'm just gonna copy this. And it's probably my laptop overheating doing this Zoom call. It takes a lot of power from my MacBook. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. And that's the other cool thing is if whatever you're speaking into acts up on you, like it will pop something up that collected it and you just copy and paste. All right, what exactly do you want the AI to produce? Um, I'm going to select this one, a persuasive registration email. Okay, so eventually it's probably going to want me to log in. All right, how do you want it delivered? Story driven. And then also provide a strong call to action for them to register. So now it just filled that all out for you. Before people, a lot of people don't know to use AI. So instead of you trying like this is if there's anything I want you to take away from this, use AI to help you, right? Now in my notes, what I had was, okay, I'm going to show them how to write this all out. But if I did that, it would already be 7:10. But instead, I said, hey, look, ask me questions, follow this format, and then write the email, right? And so, format, okay, I like that. So I'm gonna say, write it now. What if you could buy back hours every week? Dear River Church, Baltimore entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs don't have a time problem, they have a too many hats problem. You're answering emails, creating content, managing clients, solving problems, leading teams, building vision, boom, boom, boom. And somewhere in the middle, all of that time disappears, right? That's why I'm excited to invite you, boom, boom, boom. Like, do you see how much better that sounds than the one we first started in the beginning? Right? Because we had a way better prompt for it. And if I were to spend more time, it would have been even better. But again, the way I set up Claude, it's going to do even better because it already has all of these things installed in it. Okay. And so did you guys get any value out of that? Let me just pause for a moment and let me take some questions. Drenair, you can unmute some people if they have a question. And then, man, I thought I'd be able to get through all of this, but I'm not going to be able to. Any questions? We can on Roxanne has one. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. How are you? Thank you so much, Pastor Travis. I have a few questions. One, can we share the link you gave us?
Yeah. Which
Okay.
one?
The one that you put in with the link that was for, hold on, I have it.
The voice dictation?
No, it was the link that you gave to us in the chat. It's called Whisper Flow.
Yeah, yeah. The voice dictation. Yeah.
Oh, is that what
So
that is? Okay.
yeah, actually, if you guys sign up and you share it with a friend, you get a free month for every person that joins. So
Okay.
just share your own link.
Okay. And then the other question I had was you went over a little bit of the differences between ChatGPT and Claude. I've always used the free version of ChatGPT. At work, we use Copilot. But on
Okay.
the free version, what I did find is if I say to it, if I come back and I say, what did you tell me yesterday about whatever the topic was, it will go back and tell me. So
So,
it
and
may have
that's on
been,
the
it
free
may have been
version, right?
enhanced. Yeah, it may have
So,
gotten
so here's the
enhanced.
thing. They're updating these things like
Mhm.
literally every day. And so what worked and what happened yesterday, like it's changing every day. It's getting smarter, it's getting better. They have more people they're hiring to make it better because the demand for these tools. And so there's something that they released actually right after the event where there's like working memory. And here's the problem though, right? It's not going to remember what you want it to remember, like fully, right? Like for instance, if you're working on a project for 3 months straight, you're going to have way more context in every single
Okay.
chat. It's not going to remember all of that, right?
Okay.
Whereas if you build out the right system and you use something like Cowork, it's going to work out of a folder that has all of those important details all in place, and it knows when you're working on something, what you're working on, where you left off, or it's gonna be like way better all around. Um You really, again, it really depends what you're using it for. Like for me, I'm using it for everything now. So I have the Claude Max plan, which is $100 a month. Most of you on here would never need that. You'd be fine with just a $20 a month level. But again, it comes down to what you're using it for. And if you're wanting it to eventually be, autonomous and do things for you, like for instance, every day one of my agents will literally go and check my stats and drop it in Telegram for me every day. Like I don't need to tell it to do that, right? Because of the way I set it up. And I don't want to get too deep here because I want to stay on track. But yeah, again, really just comes down to what you're looking to use it for.
Yeah, and that was my question. Like, how do we know which one is best to use out of all these AI tools and when we should be paying for it?
Yeah, I would say like as we continue to do these sessions, that will be answered.
Okay, thank you,
It's
Pastor
going to be tough
Travis.
to answer right now because we don't have the context on all the stuff,
Right.
you want it to do, right? And people think, in today's age, people think like AI is magic, which in a way, like it seems that way, but you still got to train it. That's the thing. Just like if you were to hire an employee to work for you, you got to tell it what you want done. What does done look like? If you want it to build something, what does that look like? Tracy, go ahead. Thanks for
Amen.
asking, Roxanne.
Um, Pastor Travis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, here go my video. Um, what I want to say, oh, my hair is a mess, Pastor Travis. Okay.
It's
Um,
all good.
what I want to say is I really enjoyed this session, and I say this because of what the chat GTP and Google Gemini. What I've learned is so far I had to understand what I was getting into and understand the language of each um, thing I was using. So what I'm trying to say is, for instance, my grandmother died in 1977. I was 8 years old. And for what I did around Christmas time is with Google Gemini, I was very specific about what I wanted with the picture. And I created the picture where my grandmother, now she died in 1977, is hugging my mother. I was very specific with Google Gemini, and I gave it to my mother for Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, and she said she felt like I gave her $1 million with that picture. And she and I was so happy you said be specific about what you want, because I was very specific. I was very, very specific about the image, the background. I don't change the background, and don't change her clothes. I wanted
Yeah, and
everything
Gemini has Nano Banana, which makes incredible photos too.
yes, yes, yes. And Walgreens does excellent with because I got it printed out at Walgreens, which did excellent with the photos. That's all I
That's
wanted to
awesome.
say.
Thanks
Hmm.
for sharing that. All right,
You're
so
welcome.
I know it's already 7. You guys want me to keep going a little bit longer, or do you want to? Who wants me to keep going just a little bit longer on this? Put me in the chat. Man, I was going 8 hours straight at this AI mastermind, y'all. So, all right. So, what do I want to show you next? So, there's one thing I really want to show you before I. Who on here loves watching YouTube videos? Put YouTube videos in the chat. All right, let me share my screen again. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to demo something to you guys, okay? So what I want to do is I want to show you. I don't know if it's going to let me do it in the free version, but we're already there. Um I want it to, and I'm not going to be specific here just because of time, but I want it to, build a quick landing page where people could opt in HTML. I'm not going to be able to show you how to host it. I use something called Vercel to host my websites. But so let me go back to where we were working in earlier on ChatGPT here. And what I'm going to have it do is I'm going to say, Let me share my screen again. Thanks for bearing with me, y'all. My MacBook's a little bit slow. I'm gonna have to upgrade to a Pro now because Mac Mini's not working on me. All right, let's see here. Boom. Okay, so it was a great email. So now what I could do is I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say, wow, this is great. Now I need you to build me out a landing page in HTML where someone could come and they could register by entering their name, their email, and phone number. And the color we use is gold, green, and black and white. Man, you guys can make books through this. You guys can make, there's just so much you could do through AI. So now it's spitting out all this code and it should give me a preview here, right? You don't even need to know what this looks like. So it's saying, okay, you could, paste this code. Um, in the paid version, it will actually preview it. I don't know if it will here. Can you show me a preview of what the website looks like here on ChatGPT? Yeah, so it wants me to be logged in, right? But essentially, if you're logged in and it probably wants you on a paid plan, right? It will give you a visual. It will give you a visual on that. And I mean, guys, for someone to code you a website used to take probably weeks and they were working hours a day. But y'all, this generated everything in just a second. Let me just do this. Let's see here. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. All right, let me go to this here. Okay. Share my screen. So like to give you an example, if I was logged in here, I'm gonna put all of this code in here and I'm gonna say something like, um, can you give me a visual of this code? Let's see. Like you literally could ask AI for the most part to do anything. Hopefully it's not reading my files and stuff. I wanted to I didn't want it to put it in my folder, so I'm trying to use another session here. All right, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna use this tool called Visualize, which is gonna take the code. Yeah, so I mean this isn't the best looking page because we didn't give enough context here, but it's also like if once there's certain skills you could give it. Like I have a skill that says, let's see, what is it? KBF landing page creation. So if I invoke a skill like that, what it's going to do is it's going to know exactly what it is I'm looking for. But look, I mean, that's not terrible. It took us 5 seconds to build that. So boom, I push it into a server. People now could go to the website. They could click the button, reserve their spot. They could enter their name, email, and phone number. I mean, how many of you think that's pretty cool? Um, Now, I asked you guys a question, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end with this because of time, but I want to show you guys something pretty cool. At least I think it's kind of cool. Let me pull it up. So while I'm pulling this up, who on here you love watching YouTube videos? You like learning, you like that stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys a simple way that you could turn whoever you listen to into your coach. Kinda. Okay, me in the chat, me, YouTube, yeah, fire emojis, cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go over here to something I call Notebook LM. Let me make sure I'm logged into the right account here for demonstration. Alrighty, giving it a second to load here. Alrighty, you guys are about to see my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to make a chatbot of your favorite, business person to listen to, whatever, right? And so here's the thing. If you go to River Church Baltimore YouTube, okay, there's something called Notebook LM, okay, Notebook LM. And essentially what this tool is it's a tool from Google that could let you put in different sources you want. Now, there's so many things you could do with this, but what I love about it is the source of truth it gathers is whatever you give it. Because if you go to AI and say, hey, what would this person say to me about that? It's pulling from you don't even know where. But I could ask that same question, but I could feed it the sources I want it to get that information from. And so, like, let's say you're here at River Church, Baltimore. There's two ways to do this. Okay, I'm going to give you two ways to do this. The first one is the more sources you have of the same person, the better it's going to be. But let's just say I want to learn about the 50 laws of successful leadership. Okay. I could copy this YouTube link. I could come to Notebook LM. I'm going to put this in here. I already have one for Pastor Tony because, I thought it was just so cool to build it out. But what I'm gonna do is I just put the source. It's gonna give me a breakdown, but now it has everything that's in that book on the audiobook version. Okay? So I could say, what are 10 keys that I can implement from this book to be a better leader? So now it's running through that whole transcript of that video and it's going to spit me back an answer. Now again, it does use AI, but it's taking the majority of what is in that video to give you an answer. And as you'll see, you could click down and you could see different parts it pulled out from that source to give you that answer. So now, if there's a book from someone that's audiobook on YouTube or you have access to the PDF, guess what? You could even put in Notebook LM, you could add all these different sources. Okay? So like, upload files. You could upload files, you could connect to Google Drive, you could put links to a blog post, whatever. Now, that's not just the only cool thing. I could then say this. I could say, I want a podcast, right? I want to watch an AI podcast of what this would look like. Or I want to see a presentation of this book or quiz me, flashcards, infographic, right? So audio, this is probably going to take a while to generate. It's probably going to take a good 2 to 3 minutes. Um, I could have it do a slide deck, okay, based on that source. I could have it do an infographic, right? Now you could even have it do a video view, which actually I think I tried doing something like that the other night. Let's see if it ever load it. Okay, let's see here. Can you guys still see me okay? My laptop's on fire. Okay, let's go to Pastor Tony Carpenter. Okay, So this is crazy. I asked it to create a video on this book. Now, I don't know how good of a job it did, but nonetheless, I thought it was pretty cool. And so let's,
Believers treat salvation like a waiting room. They view their faith as a future ticket to heaven, simply
can you guys
enjoying
hear
life
that?
on earth till that day finally arrives. You will often hear people say, well, we are all just sinners saved by grace. While it is true we were once sinners, Scripture states that in Christ you are made the righteousness of God. Clinging exclusively to that old title keeps believers in a state of spiritual orphanhood, blinding them to who they actually are right now. This creates a subtle poverty.
So now it's literally taking, I forget which book. I feel like it's the Royal Family of God that maybe I generated this off of. But now it's like, okay, if I want to hear this part of this book in a certain way, because you're able to give it a prompt, which AI will give you the prompt, by the way. But you could say, hey, create me a video illustration to illustrate this. And now you just turned a part of a book into a video so you can really understand what it's saying because everyone likes to learn different ways. Or maybe you want to hear a podcast on the subject. AI will go and create the podcast, right? So if I go back here, let's see, 50 laws of leadership. Okay, let's see, what's this? Okay, it made a little visual here. Now again, remember, it's only going to make it to the ability you're able to prompt it many times. So, blueprint for kingdom leadership, internal character, spiritual foundation, and there's like all these different things, different laws it pulled. But like, how cool is that you could, do these certain things? The slide deck's probably going to take a little bit, but that's an example. But really, the cool part about this is like, um, and this is where you would really want to make sure you have enough sources based on the question you have. But, like, okay, what are the first laws of leadership? How can a leader develop a team and systems? Okay, let's click this one. What spiritual habits are essential for lasting leadership success? Let's see what this book would say. So instead of me having to go and try to go through an hour and a half worth of listening, I could just get like, if there's a particular thing I want to know, I could just ask it. It's going to go through everything in the book. According to Pastor Tony Carpenter, lasting leadership success requires building and strengthening your spirit, right? And so it's gonna give you all of this, right? And then it will preamp stuff, or you could, if I go to uh somebody ask me a question to ask it in the chat. Now, another thing while you guys are typing out a question is there's this plugin for Notebook LM on Google Chrome where I could click on all the videos and then in one click, if I just click this little button right here, if I click that, I could pick what notebook I want it to go into, and it will take every single video on the page. And that's how I got all of these. I just selected the ones I wanted, just because I didn't want too many. So like if there's a subject you want to learn, AI, you could try to select 10 videos, 20 videos. I mean, it's limitless. And you could put all of them into Notebook LM and say, where should I start with AI? And it's going to give you an answer based on 10 different videos, but it's going to give you the most common answer that they would tell you if you're personally talking to them, right? How many of you on here think that is pretty cool? All right, let's pull up the chat and I'm going to bring it to a close. Alex had summarized the book of Isaiah. I mean, I would ask something specific. Like I would ask something like that to, just a regular AI chat, but let's see. Let's see. Let's make sure all my sources are selected here. And let's just see what happens. But really it depends if any of these have like out of these sources, it would just pull anything he preached on about Isaiah, like in these videos. See, the provided sources do not contain a summary of the book of Isaiah, right? It consists of stuff from Pastor Tony Carpenter. But what it will tell you is everything from Isaiah that he preached in these, these YouTube videos, right? Total physical healing, praise and overcoming heaviness. Um, and again, you would have to ask it, but let's put another question in there that you asked. Based on the Do I even have that in here? Let's see. I don't even have that source in this one. It's in this one. All right, let's see what it says here. Yeah, so see how it's giving all of these different things. But anyhow, how many of you got some value tonight? How many of you feel like you learned some cool different things here? Let me know in the chat. And then let me do this. I'm gonna share. Okay, cool. Who wants me to do another session on AI? All right, you guys are blowing up the chat, so I'm gonna have to. Janelle said, didn't know AI was this cool. That's epic. Okay, so let me share my screen one more time and we'll close out with this slide here. Is your assignment this week is pick one AI tool. Maybe you like Gemini or Perplexity or Grok or whatever, but out of the three we talked about, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, I mean, those are some pretty good ones. Um, there's Perplexity, but just pick one, pick one and make a decision. You're going to use that tool every single day for something. Maybe you have to write an email. Maybe you're gonna make a post about something. Um, I'm happy you guys enjoyed it. Okay, use it every day this week for at least one task. Email, text, blog post, whatever. Use it for something just to get into the habit of using it. Okay. Write an email draft, a social post, come back next session with your wins and questions, and then you guys could share in the group. Look, if you go to, let me drop the link to this because I have a free community for everyone that we had put together here. And so let me exit out of this slide. Hopefully my laptop, it shall not crash in the name of Jesus. So I'm going to share with you guys this school community we had put together for you. This is where the recording's going to be. So if you want the recording, make sure you guys get in here. So this is the link to join it. This is the school community. I'll show you kind of what that looks like real quick. So in the school community, again, it's free. Back here, we have different things. Um, I'm pretty sure this is one of my courses that people used to pay a lot of money for that I'm going to be putting back here at no cost to those of you that come to church and stuff. But back here is going to be, the different recordings of the video sessions we've done. And then I would love for you guys to engage in the community, you know, as you join, like tell us a little bit more about you, what you do, share some wins. That would be really cool. And then post some cool things you did with AI. Maybe you made a book, maybe you made a graphic, maybe you made a landing page, maybe you did something cool. Share it with the community. I want to see what you guys are doing. And then also, I will let you know when the next session will be. As of right now, next week, uh, I'm gonna be going away with my wife, but the week after we'll probably resume and I'll do a part two, and I'll probably start talking a little bit more about the deeper stuff. But I would love before we leave, if anyone's bold and courageous enough, maybe two to three people in a minute or less, 60 seconds or less, would tell me what you took away from today's session. I would really appreciate that. So you could put me in the chat or raise your hand and I could unmute you. But something you took away, or like, hey, I just wanted to let you know this was super beneficial. I really learned a lot. And then Dranair, if we could find them. Okay, Carl raised his hand.
Did you mean to raise your hand? Yeah.
Yep,
Oh.
I see you guys. I hear you too.
Oh, well, one thing I learned, I'm so excited for the session. So thank you so much. It's a certain web um, host that I don't like, but we paid for it for a while and I don't like it. It's not my friend. I won't name it. And so I'm actually going to use an AI tool to
Tell
co-run
us the name.
WordPress. I do not like WordPress.
What's that?
I don't like WordPress.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I
I
just
don't
don't
know.
like it.
So
Um,
here's what's cool with AI, like the stuff in the coming sessions that you'll probably learn is I'll probably have to do just a session. So here's the thing, I teach in business like five core things, right? Mindset, offer, marketing, sales, team at the end of the day. And so when it comes to, an offer, right? That's like what product or service are you selling? And then marketing is like, okay, how can we get attention? Right? Well, one way to get attention is you could run ads to a landing page to capture people's information, right? Like, how can I generate leads? And so I'm trying to plan this out throughout that framework because listen, with AI, here's the thing. Years ago, we had the lack of opportunity. Now, because of things like AI, we have more opportunity than we know what to do with. And because of that, many people just start building all these random things like, I want to build this website, this thing, that thing. Next thing you know, you just spent like a whole month of your life building things that aren't even going to make you money. And so, like, I want to demo what's possible, but throughout this, I'm trying to believe God to structure it in a way for you guys where it's like, okay, what tools and how can we use AI for this specific thing? What tools, how can we leverage them for this specific thing? And so, one thing I do with my websites now is I host them on something called Vercel because I could host unlimited websites, only $20 a month, and I have AI build them for me. So I don't have to use, because here's the thing, tools are easy to use. Using things like Lovable, right? Its whole focus is build a quick website. Those tools are great, but you got five websites, you're probably paying $100 a month. Whereas Vercel and Claude, I mean, I could just be on a $20 Claude membership and then $20 Vercel, I'm at $40 and I could have unlimited websites, that thing's building for me, so
yeah.
yeah. And then it will write like I'm building out my next project is I'm building out an agent that every day it's going to do research, then it's going to hand it over to another agent that's going to write the blog, and then it's going to go to my operations agents that's going to push it to my blog. So that's where we get into autonomous AI, but that's awesome. So I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, thank you. You just provided even more information for us. So,
Cool, cool. Anyone else? Anyone else? Raise your hand on here.
I can go. I don't know if my hand is
Jacqueline.
raised.
Oh, Princess. Yeah, go for it. And then we'll do
This,
Jack.
okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Travis. This was so informational and I really enjoyed it. I just learned today that I can use Claude to make carousels because I run a digital marketing business. And so I can make carousels for my clients. And what I found was so cool was whisper flow. I've never heard of this before, but I've always wondered how much time I could save if I just talked into the computer instead of typing everything in. And this is so fantastic. I can even make graphics with Notebook LM from the videos that we upload. I mean, it's mind blowing what we can do. And like you said, we have so much opportunity than we even know what to do with. So I'm really excited to use these tools.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
so much.
epic. Thank you. Jacqueline.
This is amazing. Uh, you can even get AI saved. To give it all the scriptures. I'm
Yeah,
just
right.
being silly. But it's a wonderful that this how it streamlines everything.
It's funny. I actually asked AI like when it first came out. I was like, out of all the religions in the world, what would you choose if you could? And it said Christianity based on all the historical evidence.
Really, wow,
Yeah,
that is amazing.
but they'll probably try to program it to say something else in the distant future.
But it is so wonderful because I've been playing around with different ones. I do graphics, and I'm even taking a certification to get more skilled in user interface, UI and UX, and web design. I have a background in graphic design and IT, so I want to build on that. And I was using ChatGPT mainly, just sitting there typing it. I never really pushed it to that limit. I've been playing with a lot of graphic AI like Leonardo and Artistly and those to build graphics and to try work with animation and that type of thing. But it's amazing to see how it can work for you like an assistant. So I really this is really awesome sauce.
And again, I'll say this one more time is one of the biggest things I learned at the event. There's nothing wrong with watching videos, but they said now that you're trained, you will never like you don't need to like watch videos on this stuff. AI will teach you. You just tell it what you want. And what I do is I love the interview ask user questions, right? So anytime I'm like, man, I don't even know what I want AI to do with me. I'll say, "Hey, AI, like in Claude, I'll be like, I don't even know what I want you to do for me today. Can you just interview me so I can figure out what I need you to do for me?"
Yeah.
And it will interview me, ask me like questions until it has enough context. Based on everything you said you spend your time here, there. I could automate all of that for you and save you 10 hours a week. Would you like me to build it out? I'm like, yep, build it out.
Oh my.
So what I want you guys to all get into is like, yeah, it's important to come to these sessions because, we're going to be able to pray, and we're going to be able to come together and kind of share the different things we're using AI for. But truthfully, like after the next few sessions, you probably will never need to watch a YouTube video on this stuff. I don't want to, listen, there's too much to learn, right? There's too much to learn when it comes to AI and websites and copywriting. I'd rather just tell AI to do it for me. Like if I don't know how to install something, I'm not going to call an AI expert, yo, how do I install this? I'm just going to say, hey, Claude, I'm trying to install this. Can you help me? And it will help you. Literally do it right for you. And so, um, you know, in fact, if I go, I don't want you guys to see too much. Like I got some personal business stuff on my Telegram here, but they give you an idea of the agentic side of things. Let me see if there's any important things I could kind of block out. Because, like, if I don't want my tokens to be seen either. Um, but like, yeah, it's kind of got my token stuff in there. But I have these agents. So I have Atlas, which is my CEO. I have Vox, which handles all my communication, emails, all that stuff. Spark handles my content, Forge handles my operations, and Recon handles my deep research. Okay. So I don't see. Okay. So let's see. How can I share this with you guys? Yeah, I just don't want you guys to see my password. Um, okay, let me just kind of give an illustration. So like imagine for a moment, imagine the Earth, right? Imagine the Earth. Pretend you're in space, you see the Earth, a blue ball. And that then you have like satellites, right? I'm not trying to get crazy here in explaining this, but hypothetically, I don't know how this all works. But the imagine the Earth is a big satellite, right? Imagine it's a satellite with all of this information, right? And imagine the satellite is your phone. Okay, imagine the satellite is your phone. The Earth is a satellite. I know it's probably messing with some people's minds right now. So through Telegram, I built a system where I built my own AI on a server on the internet. And through Telegram, I'm able to access it all. And so the way I built it is I have these agents. So Atlas is like I'm building autonomous agents that will do stuff for me, right? It will do stuff for me. Like I assigned it the whole project of KBF. I said, "Hey, all I do without Atlas, it's an orchestrator bot. So I tell Atlas, I say, this is what I need done. I got a KBF call coming up. I need you to design the presentations. I need you to do some research, draft up one of the best ways to communicate this to beginners. Then I need you to build a landing page. Then I need you to do this. Then I need you to do that." I pasted it into my CEO agent, and then everything that needed to get done, it pushed it through my different agents, and within 10 minutes, it had everything already done for me. It had my whole doc drafted up. Then it wanted to know, like, do you want to run with it? And I could build it to a point to do this stuff without my permission, but because I'm in the beginning phases of building this all out, I wouldn't want it to, I want to have some level of quality control right now. But like, every day it will send me wisdom tips, which I forgot to post one today on Instagram. But literally, I trained it to do something I was doing that would take me 30 minutes, but it sends it to me every day and it does it for me the way I would want it to do it. I fed AI my books, my different teachings, some of my writing material, so it would communicate like me. And so like that's the point I would love to, you know, to get you guys to is showing you like, okay, how can you control all of your AI stuff from your phone? How many of you would think that would be pretty cool, right? But listen, it's 7:35. Um, yeah, so here's the link to Whisper Flow. Make sure, like, again, free account. You invite a friend, you get a month free. I mean, I love this app. I use it every single day. Um, can we have the link to the unlimited sites? So here's the thing. I'll give it to you guys, Vercel. I can't remember if just type in Vercel on Google and it should pop up. But AI, I know nothing about Vercel, DigitalOcean, all these different tools. AI did it all for me. Like AI pushed all my websites on there. I don't even know. I'm not a technical guy. I don't know to do any of that stuff. So I said, "Hey, I need to build websites. I need a place to host them." And it told me exactly what to do. And it said, "Would you like me to do it for you?" And it built out the website. Um, one of my websites it built out is, let's see here. So I'll show you guys this. This site's not finalized, but look how cool this is. AI built me this website in 10 minutes. It's a project I'm working on for my clients, right? For my detailing clients, agency clients, but it's called Omni Operators. And the point of Omni Operators is like how to get AI agents to like essentially run your business. And I don't know if I finished setting this up. I think I might have. Um, but literally, I'm gonna start running ads and I'm gonna have people go through my free 7-day AI agent series emails. Every day, they're gonna get something practical, right? Like, what are AI agents? What are the 3 roles to automate first? Your first agent setup, AI for marketing on autopilot. Like, it built everything for me, and that's what's so cool. Like, if I come to the blog, AI agents in the real world, like, when you click here, it doesn't go because I didn't finalize that yet on how I want it to do this. But like it will generate everything. So like this is my next project to finish building here. But it's just cool. AI just built me a whole business called the Omni Operators that it's going to run for me. It's going to send people emails. It's going to follow up with people. It's going to sell people my courses. And it just goes to show you how powerful this stuff is once you know how to use it. Okay. But I'm going to pray us out. You guys get value today. Put that fire emoji in the chat. Father, I thank you for this call today. Thank you for blessing every single person, Lord. And I thank you that they would implement this stuff. And Lord, we would take over in this last hour of time. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you guys. Don't forget Wednesday service tomorrow night at the River Church, Baltimore, 7 p.m. Hope to see you there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And yeah, I'm excited for the next session. I'll let you guys know when the next session will be. All right. See you guys. Bye.